Hi, everybody. Dan Oman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Saturday, July the 16th, Grade 1 stake at Saratoga. It's the prestigious Diana for fillies and mares. We're going a mile and an eighth on the Mellon Turf course this year. Let's take a look at the field for this $500,000 race. A field of six. You can scan the QR code for race of the day access on your mobile device. You can play this race and the entire excellent Saratoga card on Saturday with your DRF Bets account. Chad Brown, not surprisingly, has four of the six entrants in this race, and they all got a shot.
They really do. I mean, I guess as far as the Chad horses go anyway, Dan, I guess the main storylines are, sort of concern the 3 and the 4. Can Bleecker Street stay undefeated, or can Regier, the number 4, can she bounce back off of a disappointing performance last time?
Bleecker Street is the deserving favorite. 7 for 7 in her career, and she stormed down the center of the track to win her last race, the New York at Belmont. She is a one-run closer, so we'll take a look at the Timeform US pace projector and see how this race sets up. Now, Timeform US has In Italian up front over Technical Analysis, and I kind of think the Technical Analysis might be the one to take up the running, but there's a chance, Mike, that this pace heats up. Creative Flair has tactical speed, but she showed more speed in her most recent race in Dubai. And when I've talked to Al Stahl in the past, he says Dalika is at her best when she goes to the lead. She can get a little bit headstrong.
I thought that Dalika would be forward in here as well, Dan. I mean, I don't see why they would run her in this race if they weren't going to try to use her speed, because it kind of feels like that's her best running style. The number 2, Creative Flair, I mean, I don't know how much speed you're going to get out of her, but she is a horse who likes to be forward. The 2 times they brought her here last year, they rated her. Doesn't feel like she's quite as good that way. They have her last on the pace projector. I'll be a little surprised if she's last early in this race.
Let's begin our analysis with the one Technical Analysis, who just scored the Grade 3 Gallarette in her second start as a 4-year-old. We're going to watch that race right now, and Jose Ortiz gave her a very wise ride as the odds-on favorite. There wasn't a ton of speed in this race. Technical Analysis went to the front, but I really love the way she sprinted on home here to defeat a pretty nice horse in Crystal Cliffs. I get the feeling that this filly still has some upside, and she has the opportunity to get the jump on a late runner like Bleecker Street. Does the stretch out to a mile and an eighth concern you a little bit?
Yeah, it really doesn't. I mean, I guess that is something of a question with her. I'm not going to be that worried about it, Dan. I know she was 0 for 2 over this distance last year, but she just got a terrible ride in the Wonder again and ran a lot better than it looks that day. She caught Yielding Turf in the Grade 1 at the end of the year. She ran fine. She was only second best in there, but there was nothing wrong with that performance. I'm not worried about the distance. I do think she's going to get the right trip in this race, and we'll just see. This is a step up in class, though. That field that she beat last time was just, she looked good winning it, but that was just a race she was supposed to win.
Creative Flair was stakes placed in France last summer and then came over for Charlie Appleby when that barn was absolutely hot all over the globe. And she ran a fine third in the Saratoga Oaks, going a little bit longer. Her most recent start came in Dubai. It's her one and only race this year, way back on February the 4th. But we're going to watch that race right now, a Group 2 in which she was able to get close to the place. And she's just going to be able to kind of grind it out to win. The paces are likely a lot slower in Dubai than they're going to be in the US. So with horses like Dalika and Technical Analysis and In Italian, maybe the best we can hope for from a tactical standpoint is a second flight trip.
Yeah, that's probably true. I think she will be forward, probably not on the lead. She got a great trip in this race. Yeah, and I guess she wins it easy enough at the end, Dan. It looked like as they came into the stretch that she was going to, really win that race in a very easy manner. And I guess she didn't. She still ran well winning it. I liked her first start over here last year. I thought she got kind of a silly ride that day and probably ran, even better than her third place finish suggests. And I think this might be the best distance for her. I'm not sure that I like her going too much longer than this.
And I'm really not too concerned about the layoffs with this barn. They just seem to send every one of these horses fresh, and they're always fit and ready to fire. An interesting price source for Godolphin, 8-1 on David Aragona's morning line. Bleecker Street's the story of the race, 7 for 7. She got it done on Belmont Stakes Day in this race, the Grade 1 New York, and it's not like they were going fast early to set her up. They went 3 quarters in 1:16 and 2. She still has a lot of work to do at the 3 3/16, and she just storms down the center of the track. And it seems like she's getting better with each and every start.
Yeah, I mean, she just keeps taking steps forward. It's kind of surprising. She never loses. This is a race that didn't even come back for her, Dan. The horses that ran second and third in there, who were both relatively big prices, they were on the lead the entire way. This is the only horse who was able to run them down, and she did it through a last half mile that was sub 46 seconds. I mean, she was just really, really good again last time. I mean, I guess, Dan, cutting back to the mile and eighth feels like it's no problem either. I guess this maybe will be the first start among her first 8 races where she really gets bet. She's been favored 4 times already, but she's never really been bet. She'll be bet here.
But I think we agree if she runs that last race, they're all going to have them nailed on tight. Interestingly enough, although she was undefeated going into the New York, she was not favored, as Mike mentioned. Rougier was odds on in that race based on her international credentials. She was a Group 1 winner in France last year. She had a little bit of trouble in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf, and she beat a weak field in her first start for Chad Brown in the Beaugay. Now, she didn't really fire in the New York. She might have been compromised by the pace as well. What do you think about her, A, turning back to a mile and an eighth, and B, do you think she's better when they're simply given the ground? I kind of think she's the kind of mare that needs a little give, a little soft turf perhaps goes a long way for a horse like Rougier.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's definitely something to consider. As far as the distance goes, I actually like her cutting back. As a matter of fact, Dan, it's kind of the only thing that I like about her is I do think shorter distances are better for her. I realized that she won that Group 1 in France going 10 furlongs. To me, that was just a race where she got it done in another okay performance. Personally, I've never been blown away by this horse. I didn't love her European form, although it's solid. Her Beaugay was fine, as you said, against a weak field. She was really bad last time. I know that she's better than that. I'm still not a big fan. I do like her cutting back.
Delica's last victory came on very soft ground at Delaware, going 11 furlongs when they just allowed her to go on the lead. She battled it out with another horse. She held off the late closers. The third place horse might have actually been best in that race. She had a lot of trouble in there, but it just appeared that Al Stall had figured her out. She wants to go to the front. The problem was in her subsequent start, I understand exactly what Miguel Mena was supposed to do. The only way you're going to beat Warlike Goddess is probably to open up a clear lead and drop the anchor, and it just didn't work out for her. Now, they rated her in her final 2 starts as a 5-year-old, and I just think the First Lady was a tough spot for her, and she didn't break very well. It kind of took her out of her game. Right. Her seasonal debut was not bad. The horse that beat her, Gam's Mission, is okay. She was able to relax somewhat on the lead. Listen, she's going to have to run her career best against this tough field, but it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I don't think it would be a total shocker if she pulled off an upset here on the front end, although it's just not going to be easy for her to beat all of these horses, Dan. I just feel like she's in a little tough in a race like this. And we'll see if, maybe she just makes the lead here and gets the right kind of trip. She did make the lead really with no trouble last time. I thought she looked a little fresh up there. She was pulling a little bit up the backstretch. So, maybe she needed that race, Dan. I still feel like this is probably too tough for her.
But that's her. Sometimes she can be very, very difficult to ride. We'll see if Ricardo Santana Jr. can settle her down because there's a fast horse directly to her outside. That's the 6 in Italian. And we'll watch her third place effort in the Grade 1 Just a Game going a mile on June the 11th. And this was a very fast pace. And she was up there contesting it. She's actually going to take the lead at the 3/16 pole, but Regal Glory and Waka Naka are 2 horses that just had A, the benefit of the race flow, and B, Regal Glory is just better.
Exactly. That you can see there in mid-stretch, she's just no match for these 2 horses. But as you've already pointed out, the pace was pretty solid in there. And she did a lot of chasing, even 2 starts back in that Distaff Turf Mile. They put her on the lead there. She was moving right along up front in that race. Still no match for her stablemate, Speak of the Devil there. Now Chad comes back, runs her in another Grade 1, puts her in against, more stablemates that just might be, at least at this stage of the game, just might be a little bit better than her, Dan, and might once again have the run of the race because this pace could be solid.
And this is a new distance for an Italian. It seemed that Chad really was content to keep her at a mile. He's going to try to stretch her out to a mile and an eighth. And that and her natural speed might actually allow her to get to the lead on second thought over a horse like Technical Analysis. She'll be forwardly placed early. This is a very strong field, but before we get to our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for all the latest DRF TV video franchises. Top pick time in here. Bleecker Street's obviously the horse to beat, especially if she gets pace, but I love the upside from Technical Analysis, and I did like the way she sprinted home last time out, going a mile and a 16th, and I think she might be racing herself back into form for Chad.
Yeah, I think we kind of look at it the same way, Dan. We have the same two horses up there. I'll take a little shot against Bleecker Street. Won't be surprised when she just runs another big one and stays undefeated. But I like Technical Analysis. I think this is a good spot for her.
Should be a fun edition of the Grade 1 Diana. Always is at the Spa. 1-3 for us. It's a 500 grander on the Widener turf, on the Mellon turf this year. Mellon turf this year at Saratoga. Enjoy the Diana.